All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are headed in 2023. For this video and for my Christmas and New Year's message, I just wanted to kind of debunk some bad life advice. Some life lessons that people purport everywhere, especially some of the famous people, which I don't necessarily agree or I half agree due to my life experience or due to my teachings and learnings. And so I want to share it with you. Now, because you might not have the patience to watch it till the end, I might do a few short videos later, but for right now, the most important thing is, well, I wish you Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And also, I'm going to celebrate Christmas on January 6th to 7 because that's when Armenian Apostolic Church and Orthodox Church also celebrate and birth of Christ and the fact that he's Son of God. So yeah, Merry Christmas to you, Happy New Year's, all the best wishes. Let God protect you and guide you. Let your journey be adventurous, interesting, fun, with lots of challenges and tests that will make you a better person, stronger person, and more fulfilled and happy person as well. So, happiness, love, wealth, and health to you and your family. Now, let's get going. So, I have even a few notes here. And I have some wine, and yes, please don't tell me why in the world wine is in the whiskey glass. So I did not have some wine glass with me, so you just have to excuse me for it. Not bad. And by the way, I'm more of a whiskey person on occasions, but yeah, why not to have wine? And of course, some cigar as well while we talk, right? So shall we start? First things first, the first lesson that I want to debunk, is this idea that it's not about destination, it's about the journey, or enjoy the process. The end goal does not matter, or does not matter as much. Well, I think that's wrong. It's wrong. Let me explain, please. Well, first of all, there are many prisms and many perspectives through which, many lenses, if you will, through which you can look at this. One is a religious lens. Well, depending on whether you are religious or what's your religion at all, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I can speak for Christians, and I can say that we definitely know that destination matters. As a matter of fact, there are two destinations, and the way you will live your life here on earth, the way you will go through that journey will determine your end destination. So it's kind of counterintuitive to say destination doesn't matter, only the journey matters. No, they both matter. As a matter of fact, they interconnected, intertwined. One depends on the other. So that's one prism. Another prism is this idea that, well, the whole point of New Year's resolutions and goals and you name it, right? If we are setting goals, what's the point of, how can you enjoy the journey or the process if you don't have a goal? If you don't have a mountain to climb? If you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel? So explain to me how exactly you just go through life, you go with the flow and enjoy the journey. What kind of life is this? To me, it's miserable and crippling and weird and, empty. I want to have life goals for this planet, for Earth, for my life here, and also for the fact where I'm going, where I want to try to be a great person to deserve the right to end up in the kingdom of God. Now, again, you might not be a religious person, okay? I'm going to give you this just perspective that if you set in any goal in your life, you have a life path in which you have some respect to any milestones, you by definition will put a lot of weight into the destination. So what's the moral of the story? What I'm trying to say? What's my point? What's my challenge? What's my fresh perspective here? Well, it's the fact that both journey and destination matter. There is no such a thing as one matters over the other. They both matter equally. You have to not only enjoy the journey, but you have to, well, make sure your journey is worth telling somebody, and it's the great one, and it's a fulfilled one, and it's challenging one. Now, others give this advice. The final point I'm going to make about this one life advice I want to debunk, the final point is that some people say that in very narrow context, And so the narrow context is that, for example, a lot of business people and entrepreneurs say that, well, it's not about like creating a great business and having lots of money and creating an impact for you, for employees, for community, for the marketplace. It's all about just the journey of enjoying yourself as an entrepreneur and business person daily. It's not about enjoying, it's about appreciating the fact that the journey is full of, challenges, tests, surprises, mistakes, agony, pain, suffering, and maybe not so much suffering, but like mid to final failures and learnings and experiences. In that sense, yes. But again, you wouldn't enjoy the journey unless you have the goal. You have the goal to build a business, to create a product or service that solves other people's problems. So of course, then maybe by extension, you will enjoy the journey or you will appreciate it. So again, if you don't see where you're going, you can't appreciate the walk. That's my say. That's my life advice. If it's a better mindset for you, God bless. I did my job. If it's not better, well, I tried. I give you a new perspective. You can just listen to it and you can live your life the way you want. But that's the perspective that works for me. Now, let's go to the second one. And man, I love it. I'm so ready to debunk it. I want to destroy this life advice. And by the way, there is no particular order. On my YouTube channel or somewhere where I can have the time codes, I can create the chapters for each. But if you're watching on Instagram or TikTok, wherever, then you will just have to either stay patient so you can skim through a few minutes. All right, so the second advice is this thing called fail more. You will just have to enjoy the cigar with me. There is no way out for you from it. You will just have to enjoy it to get to my fresh perspective. It's a sweetie. It's quite sweet, by the way. So sweetie taste. Anyways, fail more. What's wrong with you? What kind of advice is this? That makes no sense. It's almost as if you want somebody to lose. Oh, wait. I know what you're gonna say. Andre, but fail more is such a beautiful advice. It just tells you that you have to be strong and you have to learn from your failures. Learning from your failures is very different from fail more. What I see people like Gary Vaynerchuk, who is incredibly smart in his own right, entrepreneurship-wise, and some points I very much agree with him and I appreciate what he's doing, but at the same time I disagree on this one and a few other points. And people like him or some other influential folks in the US or in the Western world or other countries that speak to people and give this advice, they say you have to fail a lot. Even Will Smith, right? They say you have to fail a lot of times and supposedly that will teach you something. Well, here's the thing. Maybe that advice would be good before internet existed or before books were written. Now you can learn from somebody else's failure. Yes, you will not feel it emotionally through your heart or through your mind or through your entire body and soul to the same extent. You will not experience that pain, right? That also kind of like enables you to become stronger and go through some crisis or struggle. But you have to know that in itself not always necessary. Sometimes what you need is to understand what is the right set of actions to not fail. So if somebody failed, somebody explained to you pragmatically and practically what they've done that was wrong, even if you just take it in a more narrow context, from life philosophy to get down on the ground and speak about things like Thomas Edison, who was trying to lighten the bulb and then he failed thousand times, which to me is not failure because he never quit. He simply had 1,000 unsuccessful attempts. So to me, it's 1,000 unsuccessful attempts. In all of the mainstream media and some of the advice you will see, they'll say it's 1,000 failures. Well, I don't know. I don't like that word. I don't really use it. It takes away power from me. Why should I use it? So semantics sometimes matter too. Linguistics, semantics, whatever you want to call it. But the point is, the mindset here is that failure is not something you really need to strive for. You can learn it from others. You can learn the right set of actions you need to take to not fail, to avoid the mistakes. because you still will make mistakes. Life will God will ensure you will make mistakes so that you learn from them, become stronger. So why you want to strive for it if you will have them anyway, if you will experience them anyway? So why force yourself, literally promoting the idea you have to fail more? No, no, no. You don't have to fail more. You have to win more. Because let me tell you something. People always say that you learn from your pain, but you also can learn from your victories. Just as you learn from your failures, you definitely will learn from your victories. Can you like UFC fighting championship? I love UFC. I'm big into martial arts of all kinds, and this is a great lesson you can learn. When you are a champion and you are winning 5, 10, 15 fights in a row, and you have a winning streak and you're defending your title, that's heck of a learning experience, because you have to keep being strong, keep being a champion, keep carry on yourself as a champion, keep walking as if you are a champion, not as if you are, as a matter of fact, you are the champion. So keep doing that, right? So the fact, let me put it this way: to get to a win takes a lot of effort, but to keep the win, to keep the victory, to keep your place of, to be a king or queen, takes a lot of, even a lot more effort. Just like if you made $1,000,000, to keep it is going to be even harder, or multiply it's going to be even harder. So this idea that you only need to fail more to learn, to then one time to win and then hopefully not fail again, I don't like that, because there is more mountains to climb always. You have to see the mountain, you have to climb it, and then you go to another one, and then you go to another one. You appreciate what you have, you say your gratitude, you do the prayer, and you go more, and you go more. There is nothing that's going to stop you. Do more charity, do win more UFC fights, do more training. There is always more mountains to climb, more skills to obtain, more knowledge to learn, more prayers to make, and more education to obtain, like more good deeds to make. If that's the case, if there is that premise, then by extension, by default, you can't put your mindset into this idea that you just have to fail. Sometimes you don't need to fail. Again, learn from others, keep doing what you do. Life will teach you, God will teach you anyway. You focus on a win, you focus on victory. Forget about participation prizes, which is very common in the Western world these days, especially for kids, which is totally wrong ideology. So get to the win, get to the first place, whether it's sports, whether it's narrow context, whether it's like more of a life philosophy and mindset, leadership, awareness mindset. So I encourage you to not fail more. I encourage you to win more. And if you fail, of course, learn from it, become stronger, and win more, not fail. All right, so let's keep going. All right, so the next one is pain and suffering. I love it too. Here's the kicker. I do believe that pain is your friend, in a sense that you definitely have to experience some pain, not forcefully. Again, I told you, just don't force yourself and don't strive for pain unless you go into the gym. That's a good way to do it. Or if, especially if this is advice for men who want to get stronger and definitely live their masculine imperative, go into a fighting gym. That's an amazing way to sort of force yourself, or expose yourself, should I say, it's a better word, expose yourself to some good pain, physical, mental, spiritual, and otherwise. So pain is good because it's true motivator, enabler, and sort of pain is a mentor in many ways as well, in its own right, right? Philosophically speaking, obviously. But suffering is not necessarily what you want. Suffering, again, is something that will be inflicted upon you potentially through your life. Some people ever don't experience any suffering because they are very privileged, or they grew up with wealthy parents, or you name it. I'm not going to get into it. There is lots of scenarios, The point I'm making here is that no matter what cards are dealt to you on the table, like in game of poker, you have to make the best of it. There is no other way. Whether you are a differently able person, whether you have a disease, whether you are short or tall, you have good genetics, bad genetics. I mean, you name it. The only aim you still have to have in life is to win, is to be the best, is to be strong, no matter who you are. And in that journey, pain is a good, again, motivator. It's a good force for you to learn and become stronger. But suffering is something else. Suffering is when you get into a trap of anxiety and depression, not the one that can fulfill you, not fulfill you, I'm sorry, but fuel you to your success, but more that paralyzes you. There are different levels to depression or anxiety or some state of mind or state of soul and body that you can experience. And so you don't want to get into a trap of constant suffering. Again, some of you have no choice. Both of my homelands are at war. Ukraine is at war, Armenia is at war, and I know some of my folks know even better than me in a more immediate danger, but I'm just telling you, sometimes life throws at you so many bad and terrible things that, well, suffering is inflicted upon you. You still have to survive. You still have to then find stability and security to try, if you can, with godly guidance and godly oversight, but at the same time then thrive in the end, if you can. But what I'm trying to tell you, forcing suffering might just destroy you. You know, even if it's not forced, if you just experienced it by virtue of your life circumstances, you might end up completely devastated, and you might be in that trap. If you are in the trap of suffering, let's just say, for too long, you might not even get out. Even the strongest of us, you name the strongest athlete, the most mindful person, the most meditating person, the monks, I mean, whoever, you name it, everyone is not, like, there is no untouchable person. No matter what your genetics, mindset, beliefs, confidence, and competence is, nobody is invincible. And I'm just trying to tell you, if you will suffer for too long, you might not get out of it. Bottom of the ocean, if you stay there for too long, you might not have enough breath to get to the surface. So I'm just telling you, your job when you suffer is to get the heck out of there, at least to the mid-ground, and maybe then to swim to the surface and figure things out. Pain still will be there. In other words, in this metaphorical example, if you are free diving and you realize there is something, you have a stroke or something, and then you're trying to swim on the surface, one thing, you have to swim to the surface, then you stop suffering. But pain is still there because you are away from the shore. You are still in danger. Sharks are around. You don't have food. You don't have, there is sun, there is heat, or there is a storm, and you are by yourself in the sea, in the ocean. So you need to figure out how to get to the shore. So I'm just trying to tell you in this example that pain is not going to go away. Pain and anxiety will be always forever there. It's up to you to figure out how to deal with it. But suffering, it's not something you need to experience for too long, because then you might not have a chance to get out. All right, so we have two more guys. Please bear with me. This is fun. I love it. All right. By the way, whiskey and cigar is good, but wine and cigar is not bad either. Of course, and I destroyed my cigar. I need to lighten it up again. All right, so this one is fun. I'm not necessarily the most credible person to give this next life advice, or should I say to debunk the bad life advice around it, but I will get the most credible person at some point in my life. I'm definitely working on it. And the point is that a lot of people tell you being rich or getting rich is not important in life. Money doesn't mean anything. Money doesn't buy you happiness. I apologize for my French, but I want to say it that way. Maybe it will land home. So, money doesn't buy happiness is bullshit. It's wrong advice. Let me explain. Of course, if you hold money, even like a freaking, credit card or wallet or cash, and the more you have it, of course, it will not buy, or should I say, make you happy by extension. Money is an amplifier. It amplifies who you are already, what you feel already at that particular moment. So if I'm gonna give you $1 billion and you are depressed, you will be depressed billionaire. And this, everybody knows that. But let me tell you something else that people don't speak about it a lot, I think. Is this idea that, they think that people strive for money, and they confuse that money is supposed to buy happiness. Happiness is totally wrong metric. Money never was created, well, it was created for totally different reasons, but I'm not going to even talk about the whole financial system and all that stuff. I'm just going to say the way we, the regular people, not a ruling elite, can leverage money is that we can buy ourselves freedom. Freedom of actions, freedom of choice, freedom to do something we want, freedom of location, freedom of friends we want to have, freedom of businesses we want to open, freedom of charities we want to run, freedom of service that we want to do to other people, or more ways to serve God. For example, if you have a lot of money, you can invest in building a church or mosque or temple or synagogue or you name it. Or if you have a lot of money, you can send them to your parents and help them with their diseases and help them fix those diseases. Let them, help them become healthy again. If you have a lot of money, you can do a lot of charity, open school for somebody, or you name it. There are so many things you can do. Are you kidding me? So this is the idea that you shouldn't be rich. You just need to make like whatever it is the minimum surviving rate of annual income per given country where you are located. That's the only thing you need to have. Maybe some car, maybe a house and a mortgage, that's it. What a bullshit. Don't you realize that the people who get rich then tell you that they are not happy, but you think it's they're honest with you, right? They think they will tell you the truth. The truth is they don't care about you. Why they will even give you a good advice if they don't know who the hell you are? So they will just tell you, oh, don't get rich, because they want to stay rich, because they don't want to share their power, influence, and their resources, which is gold, silver, money, oil, cryptocurrency, real estate, I mean, you name it. So this idea that we shouldn't strive to get rich is utterly wrong. We should. Now, there is also another point. Rich doesn't mean just financially rich. Rich means with rich relationships, rich connections, rich family, rich friendships, rich faith, rich in a sense, what should I say? Rich in the sense that you have a focused faith. You are truly practicing your faith. You are strong in your faith, right? In that sense. So rich as a word is something that you need to engrave in your brain, engrave in your mind, and understand that you definitely need to strive to have rich body, rich health, rich wealth, and then you will be richly happy. So, and money is part of it. Listen, if there wouldn't be a financial system, I could care less about money. But if they created this financial system and I wasn't there and I was born and I realized, oh, there are some papers and coins that I need to get in order to, wash my car or buy groceries or buy some clothing. Of course, we'll have to play, we can't really recreate the game right now unless you have substantial power. It's like a chessboard, right? We might as well win the game, at least. We have to figure out the rules and play. Listen, if you want to be a rule breaker, sign me up. I'm a rebel myself. But, before we become rebels, we have to become strong. To become strong, you have to have money. To have money, you have to work smart and hard. Period. So, and then we'll talk about your happiness, okay? So, now, the final advice, the fifth advice. And God bless. And by the way, a few of those might call me out for alcohol. I don't want to get too deep into it, but I'm just going to throw it out there. A lot of people mistakenly think, and you can debate with me, by all means. Debate, discourse, please, absolutely. Good, respectful, please. But in Christianity, drinking wine is totally fine as long as you're not getting truly drunk. Because Lord Jesus Christ, He taught us that it's not so much about the exposing yourself to a drink, other than the fact that drunkenness is not good. Anything that you do in your life that is over exaggerated, over indulgence, right? Whether it's lust, big sin, right? Whether it's, some other things. I'm not saying it means you can try some drugs and then if you just try a little bit, that's fine. I'm not trying to put that context here. But in the context of alcohol, there is a famous ritual that we do when we baptize, where is kegger wine and piece of bread in the church. So Orthodox Christians at least know that. So a lot of people disagree with us, especially my fellow friends from some other religions. But the point is, you can have a glass of wine, but you should not be wasting your brain and drunk and overindulging in this. One glass of wine is very different from 10 glasses of wine, just saying. Now, the final point here. Comparing yourself to others versus comparing yourself to you yesterday, right? To your version of you yesterday. And they say, never compare yourself to others. You only compare yourself to yesterday. And I think I like a lot of things that Jordan Peterson is teaching. And This is one of those things, which again, I kind of half agree. Let me explain. So, should you compare yourself to the one you were yesterday? Of course. How else can you track your progress if you evolved, if you become better? We do that all the time. If I'm going to the gym and I'm making 225 pounds of bench press, it's probably, I know that the last time I did 220 pounds or 215 pounds, oh, I progressed. Obviously, I'm going to compare it to myself before. In business, in life, in everywhere, in sports, it's going to be the same. Meaning you use historic data. Now, but this idea, do not compare yourself to others, is wrong too. You should compare yourself to others. It's just you need to know how to go about it. Comparing yourself to others with pity, jealousy, envy, and sort of greedy, depressed, weird way or attitude, of course, is wrong. But comparing yourself to others in a sense of being aspired and inspired to take action to be better. Isn't that what we all do daily when we watch the people we like, influencers, when we read the books that we like, when we gain the knowledge? I mean, of course, even the fact that God was created in the image, humans were created in the image of God. Even you shouldn't compare yourself to God in a sense that assuming you can be God, but you should compare yourself to the value system God teaches you to follow, and kind of like compare yourself to the best versions of you. And somewhere out there might be the better version of you, somebody else, another human. Yes, they have different cards on the table. Yes, they have different genetics if you're talking about sports. Yes, they might have money or rich parents, whatever, blah, 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 blah. It's still, there is nothing wrong with comparing yourself, just looking, these people, they're so successful. Wow, what did they do? Let me study them. Let me learn from them. Oh, so that was their childhood. I have a similar childhood. Wow, okay. Oh, but that was different. I did not have this. They had an investment. I live in a bad location. But instead of saying, oh, they are better here, they were having better cards here and there, you take it, I guess what I'm trying to say, you shouldn't take it as if like you can't achieve it. You can achieve it. It's just that you have to play the game differently. You have to play with the cards you have. Even in poker, right? I'm not promoting the idea of you playing poker. I'm just saying in poker, I think around 80% of games, and I might be wrong on this number, please don't quote me. Make your research, check, and send in the comment section what's the percentage. But if I'm not wrong, 80% of the time, it's not the best card, the best table, whatever you call it, wins, but it's the best player. In other words, even with bad cards, you can still win. The same here. So comparing yourself to others is okay. It's just as long as you are not pitying yourself, as long as you're not envious and jealous in a dirty, dark way, and as long as you're aspired, and you actually take action to be better yourself. You don't have to become the person you are comparing yourself to, but you might become better. Why not? So that's why we have influencers that we like and we follow and we learn from. So anyways, these are the 5 main life lessons and life advice I wanted to debunk and provide you a little bit different perspective, fresh perspective, as we are headed into 2023. If you watched till the end of this video, well, I appreciate you very much, because you probably most likely my friend and you had some guts and patience to watch it, and I really appreciate it, because I know that I'm still building, and a lot of you might think, well, who is this guy who giving me advice? He's young, he's 28 years old, and he's still building. Yeah, he had a few wins here and there, but whatever, he's not some messiah to teach me the life. But we all sharing our knowledge, we all sharing our lessons, and sometimes you won't expect, but you might learn from a stranger or from a friend you did not know you can learn from. So the fact that you watched, it means it's not so much about me. I'm not important here. It's the message important. The message is important, and it means you are seeking. You are seeking the truth. You are seeking what's practical. You are seeking what's good solution for you in life. And I'm glad that I was just a part for this 20 minutes video, however long that you had the chance to watch. Thanks again. Please, subscribe, follow, support for more content like this if you enjoyed it. My name is Andrei Trapezonian. Much love to you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.